Entrepreneurism is a basis for the United States economy. Let's not lose it. Stay tuned.
From Philadelphia, the home of the Liberty Bell, Financial Freedom Radio starts now. Here's your host, Raymond Jewell.
Welcome, everybody, to financialfreedomradio.com. I want to thank you all for coming and downloading however you get to watch us. And yes, we build our show based on referrals. So the best way we found for people to learn about what we're doing is having you send them to us. So please send them to financialfreedomradio.com. They can click on the link, sign up, and they can get on the distribution list for our shows. We may shoot them early, but every week at I think it's 2:00 on Friday, everybody gets notified of the show. If you ring the bell on Financial Freedom, go to youtube.com/financialfreedomradio.com. Financial Freedom Radio, and ring the bell, you will get notified. Maybe a little early, I don't know. Let's ask producer Steve. Hey, Steve, how are you?
I'm doing good, Ray. Thanks. Yeah, they might get a little bit of an early notification every now and again when I make a mistake, but we try to keep it honest.
Maybe if we could give them a little preview sometime, is that possible? For ringing the bell?
We could certainly
talk about that.
We could certainly inspire people to ring the bell. Let me come up with some ideas without you making my job too much more difficult.
Okay, so you're going to like this show. We're going to talk about entrepreneurism. And, we were talking earlier, and don't go away, Steve, stay right there. We were talking earlier, and Steve said to me, you have to give people information for them, not what's in your head, but what's in their head. Well, I don't know what's in there. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, what I've been trying to say is, the show is Financial Freedom Radio. People tune in because they're looking for financial freedom. So the information you share with them needs to help them move forward in that pursuit that they're in.
Okay, I understand. So what I'm giving you is information that I have that you take and use it the best way you know how. And I'm sharing what I know because I've made this journey. I've gone through 40 years of building a retirement successfully, and I'm doing these shows in retirement. So I'm sharing with you what I know, and hopefully it'll help you. You may not need all of it. You may just need some of it, but you will filter through in your mind what you need. And so I want to read this to you because this is a very interesting little blurb that I found in a book. I'll tell you where it comes from after I read it. Don't go away, Steve.
I'm staying here.
So the road to travel is what it says. For the most part, our society has done more good for other people than any other society in history. Many of us do not realize how fortunate we are. We sometimes take for granted that which we have the right to do with our lives as we see fit. We sometimes take that for granted, the right to do with our lives as we see fit. If we can get an education and then work hard, our capitalistic system will reward us. Given all the opportunity, it is up to each individual to protect his or her freedom, health, and financial well-being. We have many tools and information at our fingertips to perform well and achieve financial independence. However, we need to be careful of all the misinformation and inferior financial products in the marketplace. How difficult is it to grow and protect our wealth in the 21st century? That's the question. For those who do not yet have wealth, the road to wealth is clear, although not always easy to navigate. For those who have wealth, there is a constant need to manage, care for it, and protect it. So when we go back, we have many tools and information at our fingertips to perform well and achieve financial independence. However, we need to be careful of all the misinformation and inferior financial products in the marketplace. This came out of the book that was written by Bob Castellone many years ago, I think in the early 2000s. He's the creator of the LEAP system. And he wrote this book many years ago. And that's why I do these shows, to give you financial education, to give you information that you may need going forward to uh, to go through and to grow and protect your wealth in the 21st century. So when we talk about all this, what I'm doing is giving you information, and then you can actually utilize it. You can put it together. If you don't know how to put it together, you can let us know. We have a little crawler, I think, at the bottom, or a little thing. Go to raymondjewell.com/meet and schedule a half hour meeting with me, and I'll go over it with you. We'll just talk about how you can put this together for yourself as long as time permits. Um, so that's the reason I give this information. And Steve, it's important that the information flow be there. Not all of it's helpful, and not all of it's going to light your pants on fire and go, now, whoa, now I get it. It's my eyesight. Now I get it. The light bulb goes off on my head. Now I get it. That Not all of it's going to do that. Some of it will, but it will all come together with all these shows, and you'll be able to put it together and to realize that that this is something you want to take a look at. So what we're going to talk about today is entrepreneurism. History, entrepreneurism in our country today. The United States was built on entrepreneurism. I mean, this goes back to the creation of the country. When you look at the history of the United States, entrepreneurism was alive and well. You had programs called apprenticeship, and there were different levels of apprenticeship. You had, I think, a early apprentice, then you had journeyman, different names. And at the end result was you could continue to work with the person, but the person that you were doing the apprenticeship under was not the one you were going to work with for the rest of your life. You were going to go out and create your own business. He was teaching you how to do it, to go a couple towns over or the next town over and do it for yourself. Blacksmith, running a shop, whatever it was. These were entrepreneurs that were starting out, that were learning how to build a business. And they learned a trade. Once they figured that trade out, they went out on their own. And many built wealth creating new innovations back then. The Vanderbilts built a huge shipping industry. Then they moved into the railroads. And back before the Civil War, you had the cotton gin. That was a huge innovation on how to separate the seeds from the cotton, and instead of hand separating it. And lots of innovations like that. Then you had the Civil War come. And the Civil War actually had more entrepreneurs crop up after the Civil War than any one period of time in our country. And you can just see where steel and all sorts of oil and all sorts of different entrepreneurial endeavors grew this country to where it is today. These people that would go out and discover, like Rockefeller and oil, Carnegie and steel, and then you had Morgan with the finance. he would finance a lot of this stuff, and this became a snowball that started to roll, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you see our country, we took off like a rocket right after the Civil War because people were ready. The economy was ready to grow. It was ready to take off, and it happened. Uh, One of the things, though, that really frustrates me when you look at entrepreneurism is there's many people that try to suppress it. We see lately people trying to suppress our spirit, our entrepreneurial spirit, our individualistic spirit. And it has bothered me when I've seen these these rioters currently and these liberal people that want to take us into a society or into a type of government that we'd never had before, that we never thrived in before. The entrepreneur economy is what we're used to, but they want to take us into a socialistic type economy. I mean, we're pretty close to being in one, but not there yet because we have better methods and better chances of thriving as an entrepreneur in our current economy and in our current society than anywhere else in the world without a lot of regulations, which our current president took off, but they want to keep heaping regulations on us. They want to try to suppress the entrepreneurial spirit. And for some reason, they don't realize that the entrepreneurial spirit is what drives this economy, not these big businesses, even though they are a major contributor. It's the little small business that's mom and pop that's putting people to work, that allow people to earn an income and spend that money and create velocities on the dollar. And this is very elementary, but when I see what's going on, I see liberal mindset, even the democratic mindset is trying to stifle our entrepreneurial spirit by regulating us, by telling us what we can do and what we can't do, by controlling us. And even financial institutions we see try to do that. Uh, we go to a financial planner. You've heard me talk about this over and over and over again. And the reason I do is because I've got an axe to grind with this. It bothers me. We are taught what they're taught. They're not taught how to help us grow a business. They're taught to how to get our money. And they teach us what they're taught. And they've got all sorts of fancy ways to do it that are non-logical. And you will know if you listen to these shows where to look out for it and where to see it and where not. What's the term, Steve, that's being bandied around now? Woke, is that it?
Well, yeah, people are woke.
What that really means is you're now seeing things that you never saw before. Well, uh, when you look at something and you see people burning down a statue or burning up a business or looting a business, you're seeing people suppress the entrepreneurial spirit. You're seeing people tell you what you should say and do, what you have the right to see, whether you like a statue or not. People are telling you. So actually, they're waking up people as to what they don't want to have happen. We don't want to be told. They're trying to defund police. We don't want to be losing something that we pay taxes for. We pay taxes to be protected. So if you take it away from, that's what we're paying for. Our business pays taxes for benefits that this country gives us. And when somebody decides they want to take it away from us, what they're doing is telling us what we can have and what we can't for our tax dollar. That's not the basis of this country. So what you're seeing now are people that are dictating to you what you can have and what you can't. When you go to the financial institutions, they tell you what interest rate you can have and what you can't have. They tell you if you put your money at risk, you could have more. And the financial people convince you that what they're doing is right, even though it's wrong. And they spend a lot of money advertising. If what they were doing is right, why would they need to advertise? They would have people circling the block to get to work with these people if all of this was logical and was right. So when we look at what's being taught us, going back to our entrepreneurial spirit, we're being taught to lose that. It's being educated slowly out of us. Fortunately, it hasn't happened because people still believe that the way to financial freedom is through creating a small business or working for an employer and working your guts out for that person to get ahead and trusting that person that they will help you along the way. And part of that has been kicked to the wayside, but there are still companies out there that believe that care about the employees. So the entrepreneurial spirit is still there. We haven't lost it yet. Don't let it happen. Your business, when you deal with your financial world, you want to deal with it as a business. And our models actually do that. A business tries to be as efficient as possible, tries to run uh, and utilize every dollar in that business to make that business grow and to return more dollars. And that's what we are teaching in our model. We want to make that dollar grow that we work so hard for and return it to us with more dollars and not lose it. We want to make sure we keep that dollar circulating in our sphere of influence. I'm having trouble, Steve, getting the words out today.
Well, you get that way
in
when you
our
get passionate about something.
in our sphere of influence, we want to make sure that we keep that same dollar growing and growing and growing. And the only way you could do that is when you've got a game board, when you've got a rule book, and you've got a macro manager, is as in our LEAP system. So I wanted to, we just came off of a holiday. It was a great holiday for me because I saw a lot of patriotism and I saw a lot of people just wondering what's going on in the future and getting confused with all of this defund the police and all of this burning up businesses and looting statues and all that. That's not us. Don't let this happen to you. Don't let this happen. There's a way to keep it from happening, and it's key to keep people away from control of government that don't have your best interest at heart, that only have theirs. How many times have we seen a politician go to Washington and say they're going to help you and they don't? And unfortunately, one party is guilty of that. They've been plugging up the system for at least 2 years, maybe 4. And we're not able to get things done as a society, to get things done for America. So I appeal to you, don't let the entrepreneurial spirit go away. Make sure that we still continue to thrive, to be able to take that same dollar and to grow it into more dollars for ourselves. Even though you may not run your own business, there's a way to do it. And our system actually shows that to you. We can't actually walk through the system on these shows because you need a case to put it in. And I mean, I could make up a case study and we could actually go through it online. And if we could figure out how to do it, then we'll put that on our agenda for down the road so you can see it in motion. But in the meantime, I've got to give you this information. You do with it what you wish, but you don't have to lose to the financial institutions and the financial planners who only tell you what they're taught. And if their system works so well, why are so many people outliving their wealth? Why are so many people still having to work in retirement? And why are so many people losing? Or you don't have to do that. And so there is hope. And let me tell you, the hope is through this process. Unless you could figure out a better one, we've got an answer for you. And just keep listening to these shows, because it's the education curve we need to get through so that you will actually see it. When you see somebody present something to you, you'll know. I have clients that say, I saw this ad the other day and I thought how ridiculous this ad is, financial ad. My clients see it. So we
They're
didn't get you
woke.
to that point. I didn't want to use that term, but it's actually a good term because it's backfired on the liberal Democrats, or the liberals and the Democrats. It's backfired on them because what it's done, it's woke up people that enjoy living in this country and enjoy making their own decisions and enjoy keeping government out of their life and enjoy lower taxes and enjoy the ability of protection and not have to worry about some gang coming in and stabbing people and breaking into their houses and all that craziness that's going on. So just stay tuned, folks. It'll get better. If you've gotten information out of this, then that's good, because as you get that information and we start building on that information, you will get more information and it'll start having that, you'll reach what is called the aha moment. So I want to thank you all for coming and listening and downloading financialfreedomradio.com. Please share with your friends and send us referrals to the show, financialfreedomradio.com, or go to youtube.com/financial freedom radio and ring the bell, and we'll work on seeing if we can get these to you a little faster, or at least a preview. So take care. Have a great week. I hope you had a happy 4th of July, and God bless.
Thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe to the podcast. If you want to learn how to create real sustainable wealth like the extremely rich people do, or maybe you just want to sustain the wealth you already have, you need to check out Dr. Ray's new book, Why the Rich Are Rich. Ray's been coaching clients for 35 years and has completely unlocked the secret strategies that rich people use day in and day out to grow and sustain their wealth, regardless of what's going on in the economy. His book is completely free, and you can get it by going to whythericharerich.com and entering your email address. Again, that's whythericharerich.com. Head over there now.